Press the bell icon on the YouTube app and never miss another update.
Rishika, now the question is to you. How do you think the entertainment fraternity adopting to the new form of change in consumption?
You know, I would actually like to turn that background to you.
Oh,
Good move.
so you're going to ask me that question?
How do you think the entertainment fraternity has adopted to new technology changes?
Yeah, you see, to be honest with you, I was telling you when I met you yesterday that your dad, always has been ahead of the curve, and which is, and I know him since so many years. So, and I remember so many years, I think more than a decade back, and when he's, spoke about, we were giving interviews and everything was happening digital, and he was talking about this more than a decade back. So, so first I want to compliment your dad, Kishore Ji, my friend. Kishore, I call him Kishore, so I can't call him, yeah. So he's, always been, had a vision which was always ahead of times. And I'm so happy that this partnership is happening between Eros now and Microsoft. And I'm looking forward to this partnership and asking me the question, I think, am I the right person to answer that? Of course, okay. Well, of course, for me, because I belong to the family of content, we make content, and mine is a very small little company. My father was in films since the last 60 years. We've been making content since over 60 years, and it's a family business. And he was a film producer. He started as an agent, and of course, from my childhood, besides breathing and eating food, I was breathing films and breathing content and telling stories. And then obviously I was the first actor in the family. So because from the time I came to my senses, I wanted to be an actor, and I became an actor. And as I said, and we were talking about diversity and the collaboration which all are having is about diversity. So I was not getting any work in Indian films, in Hindi films, in Mumbai, in Bombay, which I'm talking about in the late 70s. So my first film was in Telugu, which is a South Indian language. Okay, so that time this technology wasn't there, which is going to start. So I had to learn the sound, write it in Roman English, and learn the sounds by heart. Okay, like a child, like A, B, C, D. So I said, if a child can pick up these sounds and learn them by heart, so let me write what is written in that language which I don't understand. So I wrote it in Roman English, and I used to learn them by heart. Then I had an assistant who would be there to tell me what the meaning is, and the director and the writer would say, this is the meaning. Then I would learn it by heart, and then obviously Hindi has different pauses, has a different rhythm. Working in English is a different rhythm, and working in a South Indian language is a different rhythm, different pitching, different pauses. So how do I get those pauses? Because now I have to have 3 or 4 tracks running simultaneously in my brain. One is the sound, which I have learned by heart. Second is the meaning, and the third are the pauses, and the fourth is where I have to come and stop. So these are the 4 or 5 tracks constantly running in my brain, and that's the way I did my first film as a lead was in Telugu. Then I did a Kannada film. Again, I did the same thing, and then I've done a lot of Hindi films, and then I had to do an international film in English. So obviously, performing in English was a completely different. So when I did Slumdog Millionaire with Danny Boyle, so I said, listen, my English is not very good. No, I said, you speak pretty well. You speak the way you want to speak. And of course, I was a bit conscious. I was a bit nervous that I have to, speak in English. And I have to perform in English. So I worked, and he gave me the confidence. I said, no, you speak pretty well. Because in India have a certain, our teachers and and the way we've been brought, there is definitely a British influence which is there in the way we've been in the schools and all. So I did that in English, and so for us, coming to your question of diversified, because that's you're coming out of the technology where simultaneously it will be done in different languages, and so for us, I think it's telling the story, no matter what it is, no matter what the platform is. It might be theater, it might be films. Then I did television, and now I am creating content for the digital format, which is fantastic, and of course, from the computers to the phones and everything. So things, I think all of us are adapting very well to this, and I have tried to adapt myself to this, the technology, which is the most important. That's the way you completely reinvent yourself. And I think our industry also is on a threshold of adapting. There are a lot of shows being done, a lot of people who have come here who are adapting this technology and the change in technology. We're shooting more. All the films are being shot digitally now, rather than shooting on film. And so I think that's the future.